Welcome, welcome to each and every one of you who are watching and will be watching this program. This is a special program, and its whole purpose, as you have seen or read in the instruction, is for me to start today reciting my book, Volume 1 of the Contemplative Pathway for Humanity, Moana and Tongan Vavanga. So you will be seeing me in the next few weeks or a month reciting section by section about this book of mine, the Vavanga, which was published in September last year. And why I have to recite it from here, because young people from different backgrounds and cultural and racial backgrounds have requested me to record it either audio or multimedia here, which I'm doing now. So you have to bear with me. This is the first part, and I will try my best to read. This program will just be half an hour. I'll try my best to read whatever I can deliver today, and then next week I'll continue on. But I hope you will enjoy it. So I would like to come back to the book. But before I start, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land here in Canberra, which I'm broadcasting from, especially the Ngunnawal people or tribe, their past, their present, and their future. I also would like to acknowledge the presence here of Her Royal Highness Princess Angelica Latufuipeka Halavaltuaho, which she's here doing her PhD study, her doctorate at the ANU. And also I would like to acknowledge different Jivli lineages in the Tongan community, and also lineages from different background who are watching this program. I would also like to acknowledge religious leaders and different leaders from different walks of life. Bear with me, and I won't take time to interpret and explain anything about the book. What intentionally and what my whole purpose here is to just recite the book section by section. So today, bear with me, I will start with the dedication, and the first quote that opens up the book before I go to the dedication. And the quote is by a philosopher, a Korean American philosopher named Professor Dr. Byung-Chul Han. So on the second page of the book, as you have seen, the contemplative pathway for humanity, Moana and Tongan Vavanga. I'll go back to there so that you can, that's the full title there. And there, I think it's better, but I'll come back. Maybe it's better here so you can see the contemplative pathway for humanity. It's about Vavanga. But I would like to start with Professor Dr. Byung-Chul Han. And this is his view about contemplation. In Tongan, for me, contemplation or imagination is Vavanga. But from Han, this is what he has to say, the contemplative gaze is an essential feature of thinking. It sees the invisible in the visible, the universal in the individual, the eternal in the transitory, and the unity in multiplicity. I'll continue to the dedication. This Vavanga book is dedicated to Her Majesty Queen Charlotte Mafile Opilorevutupo, the third of the Kingdom of Tonga. She's the paternal grandma or grandmother of the present king, His Majesty Tupo VI. Anyway, I'll start with my dedication of the book to Her Majesty Queen Charlotte. In a realm adorned with the canvas of artistry, and homage unfolds a delicate offering to the illustrious Her Majesty Queen Charlotte Mafile Opilorevu Tupo III. Amidst the grandeur of the Kingdom of Tonga in the 20th century, she emerges as the foremost modern Punake Vavanga, contemplative poet, a luminary in the sacred realm of art, me'atu whaiva, and culture, talai whanua o anga whakawhanua at large. In the mystic realm of Tonga, amid the 20th century's celestial dance, she was hailed as the sovereign of the Ha'avavanga, the lineage of contemplative wisdom. In the web of poetic homage, Her Majesty Queen Charlotte Tupo III stands as the unrivaled muse, a sovereign luminary who transcends the ordinary and adorns the ethos of Tongan culture with celestial grace. Countless love songs, resplendent dance competitions, in-group cadences, and tender lullabies weave the fabric of her regal legacy. Her Majesty's poet influence, akin to an ethereal symphony, harmonizes the natural world with human essence, imparting profound meanings and nuanced expressions. When a poetic prowess unparalleled in the kingdom, she bestowed upon humanity a gift rare and divine, naturalizing the human experience and humanizing the very heart of nature. Her verses, like cascading melodies, resonate through time, immortalizing a queen whose poetic reign elevates her to celestial realms, unmatched in the annals of Tongan Punake, in the ethos of Me'atu Whaiva, Talai Whanua, and Talai Whanua. That's the end of my dedication in more of poetic language. I will continue. I will read just maybe 2 paragraphs from what my wife, Luciane Lafitani, has written just highlights some views of hers about my life as an academic person, a person who helps the community in volunteer nature, and also a person who's been wheelchair bound since 1997. 26 years now of being wheelchair bound. So I will read some of my wife Luciana's. That's the next page to my dedication to Her Majesty. The next 2 pages. It's a long, it's about 4 pages. I'll just read some from her view towards me. Her piece is entitled Phoenix Rising in a Metamorphosis on an even ever-changing canvas. Phoenix Rising in a Metamorphosis on an ever-changing canvas. That's the title of Luciana's piece. According to her, in witnessing my husband's academic journey, from the pursuit of a PhD to the completion of his book on Vavanga, I have seen his unwavering dedication to knowledge and his resilience in overcoming life's challenges, including those posed by his wheelchair-bound existence. His story mirrors that of the phoenix rising from adversity to embrace transformation and growth for eternity. As I once said in reference to him, let's still continue according to Luciana. Her quotation, this quotation she first wrote to me maybe 15 years ago. And this is how it goes. Like the phoenix rising out of the ashes, so is my life and its continuing metamorphosis into an ever-changing canvas of my life journey. Continue by Luciana. With each challenge, his life undergoes a metamorphosis into ever-changing canvas, embodying the spirit of transformation into an overman in the mind and soul, in Professor Dr. Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche's terms. Truly, as Heraclitus said, we can never step into the same river twice. And my husband's journey epitomizes this constant state of change and renewal. For instance, he completed his Master of Letters in Sociology before he began using a wheelchair. He completed his PhD in social policy during the early stage of his life, in a wheelchair. Finally, this book, the Vavanga book, written and soon to be published in Philosophy and Science, was completed in the midst of his life in a wheelchair. So now I will continue, bypass the acknowledgement. I'll go straight, here is the contents. I'll go straight to the foreword. The foreword by the Chancellor of Law University, Professor Inokefotu Huakau from the Mananga Sydney of Loau University. And here in the foreword, this is what Huakau has to say about me and the Vavanga book. Inoke starts by saying, Professor Dr. Lafitani has achieved in his exposition and formulation of the Vavanga theory a seamless fusion of an expansive and comprehensive overview of rudimentary philosophical thought in epistemology with the social fabric of the Tongan traditional cognitive process. Lafitani has formulated the Vavanga theory as an epistemological contemplative process and can be considered as distinctive cognitive process from the rationalists and empiricists debate, which has dominated the dialogue in epistemology for decades up to the later centuries. Keeping to the tradition of Sydney realism, analysis of knowing as a relation that links the knower to the known, which demonstrates in the case of Vavanga, open quote, bracket, as an infinite contemplation and cognitive process in the infinity of space, close bracket, that it is not always the case here. Lafitani has formulated Vavanga as a classical Tongan cognitive process into a modern epistemic theoretical outlook. Continuing the tradition pioneered by some oceanic scholars like Professor Dr. Helu, Professor Dr. Latukefu, Professor Dr. Hauofa, and lately Professor Dr. Mahina and Professor Dr. Kaili, with a slightly different orientation, to mention a few. The introduction of the concept of category, which was part of the metaphysical framework for dealing with the substance of existence since Aristotle, was rekindled by Professor Lafitani in adopting Professor Anderson's version of the concept as a more comprehensive metaphysical framework for the Vavanga theory. In saying that, let me turn to the Tongan concept of Vavanga. The literal translation of the term reveals the Tongan linguistic use of double prefix as shown in certain groups of words such as Vavanga and Vavalo, open bracket, Vavanga and Vavalo, close bracket, or a double suffix as in whaka, kau, kau, whaka, kau, kau. If va, open bracket, space, close bracket, space, and nga is a form of crying which connotes an element of the desperation, and in this case, a yearning for something in the vastness of space, open bracket, va, close bracket. Then Vavanga as a cognitive process manifests contemplation in the infinity of space and does not connote a limit to the process. In contrast, the term Vavalo, open bracket, Vavalo, close bracket, connotes a finite process of an empirical space by announcing A conclusion to the process of contemplation signifies by law, open bracket, and close bracket. Whether we dissect the term as vavalo or va and valo, they both signify an earthly process, open bracket, by and the insect, or valo, close bracket. Similarly, thinking, reasoning, dreaming, imagining, remembering, and cognitive acts of the same type all connote a finite process by implicating their object. In that sense, Vavanga is a distinct cognitive process which Professor Lafitani proposes as a theory of its own, and I take it as a worthwhile process. In conclusion, the Vavanga theory as proposed by Professor Lafitani demonstrates the familiarity of the Tongan tradition with the general cognitive process of rationality that portrays the hallmark of past civilization and hopefully attracts the interest of our scholars to delve deep into the abyss of our past as Tongans. A group that creates a center of high culture wherever they settled in the vast expanse of Oceania. It is presented in a writing style that fuses socialization with the rich philosophical concepts as discussed by a number of prominent philosophers from the classical to the modern era. Professor Lafitani never ceases to amaze me. That is the end of the foreword by Professor Inokafot-Huakau, Professor of Philosophy, Logic, Thinking, Whakakaukau, and Contemplation, Vavanga, Chancellor of Lo'au University, Head of School of Rational Studies, one of the founders of the university, Ma'ananga, Sydney, and the Kingdom of Tonga. So, what's the time now? 5 more minutes. This program, as I mentioned before, it's just half an hour. So we have 5 more minutes for me to complete reading the sections that I have selected just for today, part 1. Now I'll continue to the preface. Preface was written by myself, and I have this little explanation in the beginning about my daughter, only one daughter, Eliza Lynn May. That's her photo. I hope you can see from there. And I started the preface before I go to my overview of the whole book by talking about my daughter, Eliza. And here it goes. In 2013, my only daughter, Eliza Lynn May Lafitani, now she is Ovshenikov. She married to Peter Ovshenikov. But this photo here I'm talking about, her graduation photo at the... in 2013, my only daughter, Eliza Lynn May Lafitani, graduated at Australian Parliament House with a BA double major in Commerce and advertising, marketing, communication from the University of Canberra. But here is the most important part about Eliza and I on this paragraph. Excuse me. Upon waking up from my 1997 light stroke, I had a stroke which put me at the end to become wheelchair bound. Upon waking up from my 1997 light stroke, which left me in a coma for almost 3 weeks and wheelchair bound, I expressed to every health officer and my friend Lobeti Faraosi, who helped me to take me to the hospital when I had the stroke. Without him, I won't be here. My friend Lobeti Faraosi and I did not want to die. Hang on, I'll go back. I expressed to every health officer and my friend Lobeti Faraosi that I did not want to die before seeing Eliza and completing my PhD and other academic writings. When the ambulance people arrived, and this is what I said to them and Lopeti. I didn't want to die because I wanted to see my daughter Eliza. That's why I put her there. And I also wanted to finish my PhD. I was still doing my PhD at the University of Sydney when this incident happened. To finish my PhD and other academic writings, which I'm doing now. I finished my PhD and I'm writing 3 books now, or 2, 3. The 4th one coming will be out on Friday next week. I achieved my PhD in 2011, and apart from my previous article publications in academic journals and books, this work marks my first book publication. Contemplation Pathway for Humanity on Vavanga is my first book publication. That was last year. I completed another one in June this year. June, yeah. Last month. Last month. I completed my second book on Fatongia, or Deontic in Greco-Roman, which is obligation. And today I'm going to publish my 3rd book on Amazon about Tongan diaspora, Tongan migration, in the case of Canberra. So anyway, this is my first book, and it took me 25 years to do research on Vavanga in contemplation. And I started writing 3 years ago and completed it last year. Let me see the time. Okay, time is finished. Let me just quickly read the overview of my preface, and then we'll come back sometimes next week and continue from after the overview and finish the preface. The preface is about 6 pages, I think, or 7. This is the essence or the heart of the book, this overview. I'm going to quickly recite to you before I disappear from there. This expensive preface embarks on an intellectual odyssey, dwelling deep into the profound Vavanga theory with its Vafilosika philosophy. I'll discuss Vafilosika later. Its ancient Tongan roots in the Lo'au lineage and its contemporary significance in Her Majesty Queen Charlotte III's works and culture, civilization generally. Emerging from the establishment of Lo'au University, a pioneering Moanan Tongan fully online higher education institution, this exploration reveals the synergy between Western and Moanan Tongan philosophies. Central to Vavanga theory is a captivating voyage into the ethos of space, open bracket, va, close bracket, changes, liliu, and consciousness, laumaria. The unique perspective elevates space, va, to the forefront, overshadowing the significance of time, kaimi. But the journey does not end with philosophical contemplation. This journey in the book. It extends to a distinction between the truth of facts and the truth of reasons. And it strikes a harmonious balance between universal and particular elements, incorporating the profound themes of Albert Camus' The Myth of Sisyphus and Plato's Allegory of the Cave, has enlightened the entirety of this book. Sisyphus rolling a boulder uphill for all eternity represents the human condition, striving for meaning in a seemingly absurd world, as it is reflected in the smile of his face. This is with less worry about the ongoing burden of his daily experiential and temporal engagement in rolling the boulder uphill and downhill non-stops, which Camus took as absurdity. Furthermore, Vavanga theory shares some similarities with Plato's allegory, just as the prisoner in the cave must break free from ignorance to perceive reality. Or enlightenment for that matter. Individuals guided by Vavanga theory are encouraged to expand their awareness and engage in a continuous process of intellectual, philosophical exploration of attaining enlightenment. I'll quit there, and we will continue next week with the Vavanga book, or the Contemplate Pathway for Humanity, Moanan Tongan Vavanga. I would like to unfold again my appreciation and thank you all who are watching and comment. I have seen a few comments. Please share this video. You can drive, you can work in the bush, do work, and you can still listen to it or watch it. But I would like to thank all The names I can see here, let me just give you a special thanks from me and the Lo'au people. The names here are Havea Dungua, thank you Havea, love you Ofatu. Havea is very supportive with the Lo'au and with this work. Havea, yeah, Havea, thank you. Havea said, I read the whole book already. Oh, bless you. Also, my son here, Luke Hokafono, offer to uncle, offer to son. Tokiu kamea liutai, MALO loa Vavangakitupu'a. Tokiu kamea liutai is going to start doing his BA with Lo'au at the end of the month. Offer to Tokiu kamea liutai. He already alo'au, and because of your interest in ancient knowledge and wisdom and your love of knowledge, you are a lo'au. Even though you're going to start at the end of the month, but you are already a lo'au person. Also, yeah, that's the 4 people been watching me and share with me how they feel. Vavanga and Lo'au University is how your mind works, how you Vavanga, how you whakakaukau, and how your heart feels about when you think, when you whakakaukau, and when you Vavanga, contemplate. Contemplate, when you contemplate. Vavanga or Vavalo. They are related, they are 2 different phenomena, yet they are connected, Vavanga and Vavalo. My focus here primarily is Vavanga, and then Vavalo will come up as we continue, as I continue reading the book. Ofalahiatu, offer to you all and whoever is going, please, if you watch this and listen to this, drop some comments, drop questions, ask. And if you critique, please do so in a very respectful way, and I will respond accordingly. Malo abito, ofalahiatu to all, and see you next week. Malo.